Hey everybody, so the stock I want to take a quick look at today is RCL, which is the Royal Caribbean Cruises. And so right now I have it set to the weekly time frame, and that's just to give a brief overview from a long-term perspective, kind of what appears to be happening. So if we zoom out, you'll see that it had a nice, back in 2009, it started to really move its way up towards that 135 range, and it kind of hit that point. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Prior to that, it was really just moving left to right, as low as 14, so it was in that ballpark for a long time, in that 14, just above 10 range. You saw it pick up a little bit, hit up to 50, and then kind of consolidate and again move left to right. Not that there wasn't movement, but it was really just living in this like single digit range up to, let's say, $60. And you kind of saw it in that range left and right. So if we just highlight that real quick, just again, more as an understanding, it's not necessarily going to impact my trade, but just to understand historically how this stock has been moving. So you really saw, the break of structure and the upward trend after this zone here, and then eventually, like I said before, hit in that mid 130 range, and then you saw a big dump January 13th. That's 2020, so that's probably a pandemic type of thing. Everything that happened there, so you saw a big drop down to 18. So that's kind of crazy, And I should just add, if I haven't already, this is the weekly time frame. So in a few weeks, it was at 135, or I should say it was at 135, and then in a few weeks, eventually it hit 19. So obviously great bargain there in comparison to the previous price. However, now we're seeing, some upward movement here, some consolidation, a decrease, and now we're seeing some more upward movement. So really what I'm wondering is, will this continue to try and rise and hit this supply level here, and likely get rejected? But there's a good amount of movement that can happen here. So right now, it's at $60.85, and the bottom of this supply range is in the hundreds. So I do wonder if it's going to go and test that range. So again, that's at the weekly time frame. I wouldn't want to stay in this stock for too long. Just because it is pretty choppy in its movements, so you see a nice uptrend here, and then you just see some up, down, left to right before that big drop, and then, choppy here for a little bit. So I wouldn't want to do anything for too long. However, if now I bring the time frame down, so let's just briefly look at it for the day. So this just kind of confirms, what we were looking at, what we were saying in the week. So not too much new information there. But now let's go to, I'm going to go down to the hour, because I've highlighted some zones that are of interest to me. Let me see, let me open this up a little bit. Okay, so again, this big zone here is that supply zone that I would say I don't think it will. I think it would get rejected if it tries to climb that way. But I'm wondering, will it try and make its way up there? If nothing else, it looks like there's some potential resistance here at 87.69. But anyway, see, I'm not even trying to go there. I'm looking to go here, in this range here, 69.05, and potentially 76.08 in that ballpark. So I've highlighted a couple of demand zones. So we have a demand zone here at 49. We have a demand zone here at 58.71 in this ballpark here. And the reason why it's of interest to me is because let me make this a little better. Bear with me. Okay, so if you look here, there's some consolidation here. So in this move from this demand zone, right, it goes up here, it consolidates a little bit, and then it has a nice big move again. And it really kind of continues on this uptrend. Nothing drastic. There is a gap up here, but it just kind of slowly works its way up. It's got a nice move here, so you could potentially say, that there's a little bit of a demand zone here, so we can just bring that across and see what that is. Yeah, so let me just bring this across so it's applicable. Good. All right, so now when we look at this, you know, this is a potential target and this is a potential target. So if we look at, you know, 64.46 and 68.81 as two potential targets, it has already hit this supply zone and bounced out. So it certainly could, you know, keep working through. So I'm interested in a kind of a low risk move here, just playing this zone here as a demand. So it's bounced off once. I may have missed it. We might see it gap up again. I don't know. There is a downtrend here that we're seeing. However, oops, I just moved that. What a bummer. Okay. However, it's within a bigger uptrend. So we go from here, we go up to here. If this is the top point, let me just get more precise. Okay. It pulls back a little over 50% and it hits this demand zone here. Okay, so it hits off this. It doesn't move huge off of this. It's not a big bounce, but it does bounce, and it goes off of this. So the question is if we're in the middle of a bigger uptrend and we're just seeing a pullback, you know, what will it test again on the way up? So if I put what I think might happen, so again, if we go down here, right, we could see something like this as one potential move, maybe even this as another potential move, right? We might see something like this. That would be another possible scenario. And obviously, you know, we could see something like this. And then I stop out and it really doesn't matter. But again, it's a low risk move because of this tight demand zone here. So what I'm thinking of doing is, let's see here, entering around here, around $60, seeing if it can bounce off of 60 with the stop, a tight stop at 57.59 with one target here. Right, so that gives me a 1.8 risk to reward ratio. And then what I could do, let me just move this over. So that would be one move. And then the next target could be, so again, if I have the same stop, so it's the same risk, but I go up here, or I could do something a little bit higher if I think it's gonna like hit the top of this. So there's a potential, you know, higher target in there. Maybe just go below the top of that zone there, that supply zone. And so that's a potential move that I can make. So again, real quick, we see a pullback here. It exceeded the 50% from that recent climb up. We see a little bit of sideways movement, but we do see a bounce here. So basically what I'm hoping is we see one more bounce, and then we see it test here, maybe move a little bit, and go up to, again, beyond here. So if we saw something like that, you know, I could do pretty well off of this quick trade. Again, this is within an hour. So I'm hoping that I'm not in this, you know, trade for too long, you know, maybe a couple days. I don't know. And maybe I don't get it because I don't know what's going to happen here. I'm not going to chase it. So I'm going to sit around here. And if it bounces off of that one more time, great. And if it doesn't, if it goes right through, if it doesn't bounce, it keeps going right through, I'm only risking, you know, a couple dollars per share, a little over a couple dollars. So that's my thought process on Royal Caribbean. So I'll probably put in a couple OCOs on my ThinkSwim app and see what happens over the week. All right, take care.